Hi. Okay, so right after I finished that last video, the sky opened up and it started hailing. I don't know if you guys experienced that. It's like 2 o'clock here on Tuesday, so that was kind of weird. Anyway, today we are continuing to practice adding and subtracting fractions. I'm hopeful that you will have a test in this next week on the computer, the same way that you took the test for the last topic. But we'll see how things go. So far, so good though. You guys have been doing a really great job with your adding and subtracting fractions. Some of the things that I wanted to address with you today are fractions on a number line. So in your work today, you're going to see some examples that look like this. There'll be a number line, right? And it'll be broken up into a certain amount of parts. Move this. Ugh, that light. Okay. It'll be broken up into a certain amount of parts. So let's say it's broken up into 8 equal parts. That means that this line over here is 8/8, which is also the same thing as 1 whole. And over here, we would have 0/8. Directly in the middle would be 4/8 because 4 is half of 8. 4 plus 4, two numbers that are the same, equal 8. So here in the middle would be 4/8, right? Then here would be 2/8. Here would be 6/8. This is 2/8 because it's halfway between the 0 and the 4, so it's 2. And this is 6 because it's halfway between the 4 and the 8, which is 6. Now I can go in and label the rest of the parts. Here would be 1/8. This would be 3/8, 5/8, and 7/8. It's going to show you the number line already created. I just wanted to review with you how to create the number line yourself should you ever be needing to. So let's say I have a subtraction problem that is 7/8, right? I have a better idea. Because on the work, you're going to see it arrows on the number line. So any arrow that is going to the right like this shows addition. Any arrow that is going to the left like that shows subtraction. So if you have an arrow that starts here at the 7/8 and goes to the 4/8, what that's showing you is this problem. It's showing you 7/8 minus something gets you to 4/8. I'm going to shut off that light so you guys can see what I'm doing. Hold on. Okay, that's better. It's a little darker, but you can see the board now at least. Okay, so that's what it's showing you. If the arrow starts at a certain place and goes to the left, it's showing you that it's subtracting a certain amount to get you to wherever it lands. So in this case, it started at 7/8. It subtracts a certain amount, and it lands at 4/8 eventually. So what would go in this blank space? How many eighths would have to go in there? Well, let's count. 1, 2, 3 would get us to the 4/8 marker. So we would fill in this blank with 3/8. Okay, that's how it's going to look. You're going to have to fill in the blanks depending on what's shown on the number line. Let's try another one that shows addition. So again, here I have for my addition, because you're going to notice that the lines are different colors. For subtraction, they are red. For addition, they are green. Like green, go, right? Go forward. Okay, so let's say that I'm starting here at 2/8, and I end up at, it's going to be the same, so I don't want to do that. let's say we go to 2/8 and we end up here at 6/8. Okay, so again, my arrow is going forward. The numbers are getting larger. So this shows that I start at 2/8. I add a certain amount to it, and I end up at 6/8. So how much do I add to it? Well, I have to count all the markers in between 2 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means 2/8 plus 4/8 equals 6/8, which makes sense because we know that the denominator does not change, and 2 plus 4 equals 6. Okay, so that's one of the types of problems you're going to see. You're also going to see word problems that have multiple steps in them. So for example, let's say that, I'm trying to make up a good thing here. Okay, let's say that I have a pitcher of lemonade. My dog just came in here. I have a pitcher, she's afraid of the thunder. Oh, there she is. Bye, Chica. See you later. Let's say I have a pitcher of lemonade, right? Here's my, I'm going to try, I really am, to draw a picture of lemonade here. Looks more like a mason jar. Good enough. Picture of here's my jar of lemonade. And let's say that when it's full, it's 16 sixteenths. Okay? It's measured into 16 equal parts. The whole jar would be 16 sixteenths. Okay, so that's important to remember what the whole is equal to. Let's say I serve Olivia. Olivia gets 4 sixteenths. And Nicholas gets 6 sixteenths. My question is, how much of the mason jar of lemonade is left? So in order to do that, what I have to do is I have to add up the totals for both kids to find out how much in all they drank together. So I would do 4 sixteenths plus 6 sixteenths. Remember, the denominator does not change. 4 plus 6 equals 10 sixteenths. So that means that the kids drank a total of 10 sixteenths of the jar. So how would I find out how much is left? Think about it. Tell somebody who's around you. Tell your dog if there's nobody else around. I would have to, if you said that I would have to subtract the 10 sixteenths from the 16 sixteenths, you are correct, because the 16 sixteenths represents the jar as a whole. So I have to take the total amount that the kids drank and subtract it from the fraction that represents the whole jar. 16 sixteenths minus 10 sixteenths, well, I know that the denominator is going to remain as a 16 because the total number of parts does not change. Then I have to take 16 and subtract 10. 16 minus 10 gives me 6 sixteenths left over in the jar altogether. Make sense? Okay, so don't forget, there are a couple of problems where there's multiple steps to it. There's a few where you have to fill in the blank. So just make sure that you're filling in the blank correctly. Make sure you're going to see ones that have fill in the blanks. So it'll look something like this. Okay. It'll be like a box over a 6 plus 2 over a box, right, equals box, and let's say this one is filled in, okay? Because this denominator here is 6, a 6 also has to be dragged down. You'll see it. There's little boxes on the top. You have to click and drag them down. into these two boxes as well, because we know that the denominator does not ever change. So you can use the things that you pull down more than once. Okay, so I have to put a 6 in the bottom because the denominator does not change. Then up here, I have a 4 over here, and I have a 2 here. So something plus 2 is going to get me to 4. Well, when I think of my addition facts, I know that 2 plus 2 equals 4. So I just created a true number sentence by filling in the blanks with the correct digits. So you will see a couple of examples that look like that as well. Okay, so use what you know, work backwards if you have to fill in the blanks. And if you need any help, please let us know.